A very good morning. It's just past 8 this Monday morning and you're watching The Breakfast Show. I'm Rukma. The first session of the 17th Lok Sabha commences today. The Prime Minister has called a meet of presidents of political parties. India wins big against Pakistan in the ICC World Cup. All this news and more. We'll also be taking you through the newspaper headlines published from the national capital, New Delhi. But first, the top stories. India beat Pakistan by 89 runs. Rohit Sharma's century paves way for India's win. In rain-affected clash, Kuldeep Yadav and Hardik Pandya pick up 2 wickets apiece. Fans celebrate India's win. First session of the 17th Lok Sabha to begin today. First 2 days of the session to be used for administering oath of office to newly elected MPs. Rajya Sabha will sit from Thursday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says NDA committed to fulfilling dreams of 130 crore Indians who have reposed unparalleled faith in the alliance. Asserts his government will fulfill regional aspirations and work untiringly for national progress. Prime Minister to chair meeting of chiefs of all political parties having representation in Parliament on Wednesday. Meeting is aimed to ensure smooth functioning in the upcoming parliamentary session and to discuss key issues of national importance. PM also to meet all elected MPs on Thursday. World Day to Combat Desertification and Drought being observed today. Union Minister for Environment, Forests and Climate Change Prakash Javadekar to deliver keynote address at function to mark the occasion and to release a COP14 logo in New Delhi. Union Health Minister Dr. Vardhan visits Muzaffarpur, takes stock of the situation arising out of the deaths of 127 children due to suspected encephalitis. Promises all possible help from the centre, says an encephalitis-dedicated pediatrics ICU hospital comprising 100 beds with state-of-the-art technology would be constructed within a year. And celebrations begin across the world with immense fervour to observe International Yoga Day 2019. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges people across the globe to join Yoga Day programs in their respective nations. And well, India has won big in the ICC Cricket World Cup, winning by a huge margin against Pakistan. India made it 7-0 against Pakistan in the World Cup as they registered a comfortable 89-run victory through DLS method in Manchester on Sunday. The target was revised to 302 in 40 overs after a rain interruption, and Pakistan managed to score just 212 for 6 in the end. It was India's third victory in the tournament with one no result.
Put into bat under a grey sky, India got off to a strong start with Lokesh Rahul replacing injured Shikhar Dhawan at the top. It was a well-executed innings from India, built around waiting out Amir's first spell. But as good as Amir was with a stunning opening spell, Hassan Ali failed to match up, conceding 26 runs in his 3-over opening spell. The third seamer in the pack, Wahab Riaz, did pick Rahul on 57 with his round-the-wicket angle, but he too was guilty of bowling on either side of the wicket. Rohit scored his 24th ODI 100, the milestone coming off only 85 balls. The 98-run partnership between Kohli and Rohit for the second wicket looked ominous and in many ways was, but an adventurous scoop shot by Rohit found him caught at short fine leg. Pandya, promoted at number 4, never looked in groove and was caught by Babar Azam at long on, trying to clear the longest part of the playing field on an off day. MS Dhoni walked in the 44th over, had to hit the big sixes or get out, and he did get out, trying to hike Amir across the line, second ball. Kedar Jadhav walking in after Kohli's dismissal helped India pick up 33 runs in the remaining 3.2 overs, posting 336 for the loss of 5 wickets. Anil Thomas report, TD News, Manchester. Chasing 337 for victory, Pakistan had a horrible start as they lost Imam-ul-Haq when Vijay Shankar trapped him LBW in the 5th over. Babar Azam and Fakhar Zaman then stitched together a 104-run partnership to steady the innings. Kuldeep Yadav's twin strike to remove both the batsmen picked back Pakistan. And then Hardik Pandya came into the attack and in 2 successive balls got rid of Mohammad Hafiz and Shoaib Malik to snuff out any chance of Pakistan's comeback. Vijay Shankar's introduction in the middle saw him clean up Pakistan's captain Sarfaraz Ahmed. Rain delayed the inevitable, but once the match resumed, Pakistan had to score 136 runs in just 5 overs. They could only muster 212 for 6, losing the match by 89 runs through Duckworth-Lewis method.
India-Pakistan contests are never short of drama. Drama today was in the form of rain goats. But luckily, India has managed to keep that under control with their performance. And India now have 1 foot in the semi-finals with 7 points against their name after 3 wins and 1 match washed out due to rain. What Pakistan would now be worried is that this is for the 7th straight time that they have lost to India in a World Cup contest. With camera person S. Jaishankar, Anil Thomas, DD News, Old Trafford.
And Rohit Sharma continued his brilliant run of form in the ICC World Cup 2019 as he slammed his 24th ODI century during India's group stage encounter against Pakistan on Sunday. This was his 2nd century of the World Cup.
India's vice-captain Rohit Sharma stuck his 24th ODI 100 as India was placed in a comfortable position against Pakistan in their heavyweight World Cup clash on Sunday. Rohit looked in sublime touch from the word go and brought up his 2nd century in World Cups in vintage fashion. He got to his 100 in 85 balls, hitting 9 fours and 3 sixes. KL Rahul gave him good company at the other end before being dismissed. The pair opening together for the first time broke a 23-year-old record set by Sachin Tendulkar and Navjot Singh Sidhu for the highest opening partnership in a World Cup match against Pakistan. Tendulkar and Sidhu had shared a 90-run stand for the opening wicket in the 1996 World Cup in Bengaluru. India went on to post 287 before winning the match by 37 runs. Rohit and Rahul broke the record in the 16th over, with the latter getting out on 57. Rohit, who has been in ominous touch in the tournament, drove Pakistan spinner Shadab Khan for a single to reach the triple-figure mark at the jam-packed Old Trafford ground. This was his 2nd century of this year's World Cup and he became the 5th Indian to score 2 or more centuries in a single edition.
Well, Rohit has been letting his bat do the talking. 200s and 1 half-century, but his 24th 100 against Pakistan is special because this comes against the arch-rivals and this particular knock will be remembered for long. Rohit has delivered what the team expected him to do. With camera person S. Jaishankar, Anil Thomas, DD News, Old Trafford.
And we are joined by our correspondent Anil Thomas from Manchester. Anil, well, India's big victory over Pakistan making a huge statement. 1 foot for the Indian team in the semis.
Well, exactly. If you look at this particular game, right from there was enough of drama with the rain coming and going, having some stop-starts there across the match. But if you look at this game purely, this could be one of those, one-sided games that you rarely see in a World Cup, especially in an India-Pakistan encounter. And, many fans that I spoke to clearly felt that, India losing the Champions Trophy final there to Pakistan. The same team led by Sarfaraz Khan. So this is, some kind of settling scores that India has done, but India has done it in style because India maintained that unbeaten run in the World Cup. India had beaten Pakistan in 6 previous occasions. This particular win in Old Trafford makes it 7-0 in favor of India in World Cup contest between India and Pakistan.
Right, at one point, Pakistan was still in the game, that partnership between Babar Azam and Fakhar Zaman. But that spell by Kuldeep Yadav was the turning point. What do you say?
Well, you bang on in the first assessment. We batted ourselves. We batted Pakistan out of the game in the first half of the innings. But in the second, I would say that wicket, that second wicket that fell Fakhar Zaman's wicket. That clearly Fakhar Zaman and Babar Azam, both the manner in which they went one after the other. The partnership was broken and they both going in tandem. Clearly upset that apple cart for Pakistan. They were backing on their big guns, Mohammad Hafiz and Shoaib Malik, to come good, but that was not to happen. So all in all, that 4 wickets that fell, you mentioned that spell of 23rd to 26 overs where they lost 4 wickets in tandem. Clearly, unsettled that Pakistani dressing room. And from there on, the rain coming and, the play getting stopped, and then, again we having an unachievable target there for Pakistan. Clearly reminded you of the 22 runs that South Africa chased in that 1992 World Cup semi-final. So, but all in all, I would say that it looked more, if you look at it now at the end of the day, it looks more like a one-sided outing there between India and Pakistan.
Right.
But having said that, India with 7 points in their kitty, I think have 1 foot in the semi-finals. Considering the next 2 games that we play, first against Afghanistan, followed by the game on 27th on the same very track in Old Trafford against West Indies. So, if you can finish those 2 games with 2 more wins, I think India is looking at, at least I would say, very safe in the semi-finals before we take on England on 30th of June. So that's an interesting, take, and that's a big positive for Team India, still being unbeaten in the tournament. We are almost a little over, a fortnight into this World Cup, and we're still unbeaten in the World Cup with 3 wins and 1 match being washed out to rain. Clearly is a positive sign for Team India as we look at, building up in this World Cup and as the tournament progresses.
Right, Anil. Well, thank you so much for joining us there from Manchester with all those inputs. And now moving on, BCCI Secretary Amitabh Chaudhary, in an exclusive interview to our correspondent Anil Thomas, said that in this edition of the Cricket World Cup, India is a major contender and he sees the men in blue playing the finals.
India-Pakistan contest, an interesting contest on the card, slowly hampered by rain, but surely a full game expected. And we've got with us BCCI's Amitabh Chaudhary. Amitabh ji, how do you look at this particular game?
As an Indian, obviously I'll have a certain way of looking at it, and considering how India is batted, I am almost certain about the outcome of the match. What the outcome is, you obviously understand. For sure, despite the Duckworth-Lewis, we should win comfortably.
How long are you going to be? Are you going to be here for the entire World Cup, or are you just going to be for a few?
After I'll be back in India in a day or 2, but hope to get here again for the finals, and that's because the ICC 5-day conference, annual conference, follows the final. So I'll be there for both.
Looking at the way India has performed, are you happy with the way the team, the build-up was right, world number 2 team in ODI rankings, and the way they performed on the field?
Surely, so far, I mean, they've done very well for themselves. It's been very good, very emphatic victories against the best teams, and as it will be today. So certainly, it's been a good build-up, and I have little doubt that on paper, if you were to see, this team should be the best.
And after the win, Indian fans were ecstatic. People of all ages danced on the streets of Manchester, celebrating India's victory.
Great, and for the first time in a little while, everyone's just happy, and it's wonderful to be a part of it. And sitting in the crowd was just great. Everyone's getting on with everyone, and it's good. Let's see how it goes.
A lot. I feel like they didn't use their brains in the batting. They didn't think about what's happening, how many wickets are falling. And then I feel like they just went under pressure and they just lost it all there.
I think they always play like this, so there's nothing wrong. It's the same policy I think they applied today as well.
Okay, आज फील्डिंग इतनी बुरी नहीं थी. एक दो रन आउट शायद मिस किए हैं. उसके अलावा bowling में except Amir and Imad and Wahab, they're the only constant performers. Otherwise उसके अलावा तो कोई हाल नहीं है. और बैटिंग में स्टार्ट्स मिलते हैं बट वो उसको कैपिटलाइज करके लंबा स्कोर नहीं करते. जैसे आपने देखा आज रोहित शर्मा ने 140 किया, विराट कोहली 80 के करीब खेला, तो इस तरह हमारे बैट्समैन 50 हो जाता है तो वो अपने रिकॉर्ड बुक में रख देते हैं और उसके बाद वो आउट हो जाते हैं।
जीतना ही था, इसमें कोई शक ही नहीं था कि नहीं जीतेंगे। थोड़ा कितना जल्दी जीते इस पे डाउट चल रहा था।
वरुण देव हमारे साथ रहे, जीत तो हमारी होनी ही थी, बारिश ना हो। हम लोग हवन सामग्री का इंतजाम करके लाए थे आज, लेकिन जरूरत नहीं पड़ी, जीत गए मैच।
भारत तो हमेशा जीतता है, वर्ल्ड कप इज ऑलवेज देयर, सो दे आर द बेस्ट टीम एनी विच वेज, सो देयर इज नो रीजन फॉर we don't need to find a reason for why they won. I mean, they were supposed to be winning, it's just that they've delayed a little bit of their winning. It was supposed to be a 25 over match.
Champion, Virat Kohli, Dhoni is the best. We beat Pakistan like always in the World Cup, 7-0.
जीत गया, इंडिया जीत गया, जीत गया, मैं जीत गया, इंडिया जीत गया।
The only thing special was that it was India Pakistan, and we knew we were going to win anyway. But you know, it's always best to watch it live.
And India's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Ruchi Ghanshyam, expressed her happiness after India's win against Pakistan in the World Cup match in Manchester.
It's a wonderful game. I think our team played very, very well. Okay. Yeah, very excited. Well, the fans seem to have behaved very well. You know, each side cheering their own team. But I think the cheers for India were very loud.
An Indian skipper Virat Kohli in a tweet thanked all fans for India for turning out in large numbers. He said top performance by the team thanks to all the fans for turning out in large numbers. And Pakistani cricket fan Chaudhary Abdul Jalil, famously known as Chacha Cricket, looked disappointed after his team's defeat against India in the World Cup.
अच्छा क्या बात है, पाकिस्तान भारत को हरा ही नहीं पाता है विश्व कप में, साथ ही बार और साथ ही लगातार हार।
बिल्कुल आज की आपका पाकिस्तानी जो है ना क्रिकेट फैन को बड़ा अफसोस है, दिल चाहता था कि आज हिस्ट्री बदले, लेकिन आज फिर नहीं बदल सकी। आज पाकिस्तान तीनों फॉर्मेट में जो फिर नाकाम हुआ है। पहले बॉलिंग भी अच्छी नहीं हुई, फील्डिंग बिल्कुल जो है ना होती है, और फिर हमारे बैटिंग में भी सुपरस्टार नहीं चलते थे, जिसकी वजह से आज इंडिया एक दफा फिर शानदार तरीके से वर्ल्ड कप में पाकिस्तान से मैच जीत।
आपको लगा पाकिस्तानी बल्लेबाज अपने रिकॉर्ड के लिए खेल रहे थे, अर्धशतक लगते ही वापस पवेलियन का रास्ता पकड़े, जबकि रोहित शर्मा पूरी पारी खेल गए भारत के लिए?
नहीं, कोई भी खिलाड़ी जो है वो जो है ना अच्छा ही खेलना चाहता है, लेकिन क्रिकेट का कुछ पता नहीं है। रोहित शर्मा जो है ना कभी 0 पे आउट होता है, आज वो एक सुपर इनिंग खेला, उसने अपनी जो है ना टीम के लिए बहुत बड़ा इनिंग खेला। रोहित भी बहुत अच्छा खेला है, बाकी भी सब ने बॉलिंग बहुत अच्छी की है, और सबसे बढ़ के आज इंडिया की फील्डिंग जो है वो देखने के लायक।
अब जिस तरह का फैंस आप देख रहे हैं इस मैदान में, मतलब एक सेल आउट हमें देखने को मिला 26,000, कैसे देखते हैं भारत पाकिस्तान दोस्ती के लिए फैंस के लिए? जी मैं तो यही कहता हूँ कि क्रिकेट फॉर एंजॉय नॉट फॉर टेंशन, क्रिकेट फॉर लव नॉट फॉर फाइट। ये प्यार से टीमें खेलने, अंदर बाहर क्राउड भी आपस में प्यार करे और कोई रॉन्ग टॉक नहीं करे, और ये क्रिकेट को क्रिकेट समझे।
And back home, in other news, the first session of the 17th Lok Sabha will commence from today. The Rajya Sabha will sit from Thursday. The Lok Sabha will have 30 sittings and the Rajya Sabha 27 between June 17th to July 26th. The first 2 days of the session will be used for administering oath of office to all Lok Sabha MPs by Pro Tem Speaker Virender Kumar. The Speaker will be elected on June 19th, and the next day the President will address a joint sitting of both the houses. The economic survey will be presented on 4th of July and the budget will be presented on the 5th. Besides Triple Talaq Bill, the legislations likely to be introduced in the upcoming session are the Central Educational Institutions, Reservation in Teachers Cadre Bill and Aadhaar and Other Laws Amendment Bill 2019. The session will continue till the 26th of next month. And joining us now is our correspondent Shailendra Mishra to give us an overview, even as the 17th Lok Sabha will have its first sitting from today. It commences today. Take us through all that we can expect, the bills that to watch out for, important legislations and so on.
जी बिल्कुल रुकमा, 17वीं लोकसभा का पहला सत्र शुरू हो रहा है और निश्चित तौर पर बहुत महत्वपूर्ण सत्र है। बजट पेश होना है और हम जानते हैं कि तमाम अहम विधेयक जो सरकार इसी सत्र के दौरान पारित कराना चाहती है और ख़ासतौर पर अध्यादेशों के बदले में जो विधेयक सदन के पटल पर रखे जाने हैं। कैबिनेट ने पहले ही मुस्लिम महिलाओं के अधिकारों से संबंधित 3 तलाक पर रोक से जुड़े विधेयक को मंजूरी दी है। कल जो सर्वदलीय बैठक हुई थी उसमें विभिन्न दलों के बीच एक सहमति बनाने की कोशिश हुई। कांग्रेस ने कहा कि वो मुद्दों के आधार पर जनता से जुड़े जो हित के जो विधेयक हैं उनका समर्थन करेगी, साथ ही साथ जो तमाम मुद्दे हैं किसान और सूखे से जुड़े उनको भी उठाने की कोशिश करेगी सदन में सत्र के दौरान। सरकार की तरफ से कहा गया कि तमाम एक तरह से एक नई शुरुआत, खुद प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने कहा कि नए चेहरे बड़ी संख्या में जीत कर आए हैं लोकसभा में और एक नई शुरुआत होनी चाहिए इस नए सत्र से। तो निश्चित तौर पर सरकार को बहुत उम्मीदें हैं। हम जानते हैं कि सभी प्रमुख राजनीतिक दल जिनके सांसद हैं पार्लियामेंट में, उनके अध्यक्षों की एक बैठक भी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने 19 तारीख को बुलाई है और 20 तारीख को सभी सांसदों, राज्यसभा और लोकसभा के सभी सांसदों को शाम को आमंत्रित भी किया है। तो निश्चित तौर पर एक कह सकते हैं कि सकारात्मक माहौल में संसद सत्र की शुरुआत होने जा रही है और सर्वदलीय बैठक में ये आम सहमति बनाने की कोशिश भी की गई है कि सभी दल संसद को सुचारू रूप से चलाने में सहयोग करें। जी रुकमा।
Right, Shailendra, well, that's all we have time for right now, but you keep your eyes on that story. Thank you very much for joining us. And a day before the beginning of Parliament session, NDA leaders met in New Delhi on Sunday. The leaders, including Prime Minister Modi and BJP President Amit Shah, attended the meeting. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said NDA is committed to fulfilling the dreams of 130 crore Indians who have reposed unparalleled faith in the alliance. He asserted that his government will fulfill regional aspirations and work untiringly for national progress. And earlier on Sunday, the BJP's Parliamentary Party Executive Committee also met in New Delhi. After BJP's Parliamentary Party Executive Committee meeting, the Prime Minister tweeted, "The BJP is grateful for people's blessings. We assure our fellow Indians that we will be at the forefront of pro-people governance and facilitating legislation that manifests the spirit of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas." And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called a meeting of presidents of all political parties represented in Parliament on 19th of June. The Prime Minister is likely to discuss important issues including One Nation, One Election and the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. While addressing floor leaders of various parties in the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha in New Delhi on Sunday, the Prime Minister called on leaders of all political parties to work cohesively with the government in running Parliament smoothly and collectively address issues related to the welfare of people. He said the government is always receptive to issues raised by political parties and is ready to discuss issues of national importance in Parliament. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi briefed the media after the all-party meet in New Delhi.
Has called the meeting of all party presidents who are who are representing the Parliament, all party president meeting he has called on the 19th of this month at 3 o'clock, and he would like to discuss about important issues including one nation, one election, and Mahatma Gandhi 150th year, and creating good atmosphere in the Parliament. ये सब प्रधानमंत्री जी सब अध्यक्षों के साथ बातचीत भी करना चाहते हैं.
Later, the Prime Minister in a tweet said, "We had a fruitful all-party meeting, the first one after the election results and before the start of the monsoon session. Thankful to the leaders for their valuable suggestions. We all agreed on the smooth running of Parliament so that we can fulfill people's aspirations." And Union Health Minister Dr. Vardhan on Sunday reviewed the situation of encephalitis in Muzaffarpur and adjoining districts of Bihar. During his more than 4-hour stay at SKMCH Hospital in Muzaffarpur, the Health Minister visited different wards, pediatrics, ICUs and other medical establishments related to treatment of encephalitis affected children. He held a marathon discussion with Minister of State for Health Ashwini Kumar Chaubey, Bihar Health Minister Mangal Pandey and health officials of the central and state governments. Talking to media persons at SKMCH Muzaffarpur, Dr. Vardhan assured all possible help to the state government, including technical and financial assistance. Dr. Vardhan said an encephalitis dedicated pediatrics ICU comprising 100 beds with state-of-the-art technology would be constructed within a year.
यहाँ पर कम से कम 100 बेड का एकदम नया, इस बिल्डिंग से भी अलग, इसी कैंपस के अंदर एक पीडियाट्रिक आईसीयू बनना चाहिए, और ताकि ये जो अस्पताल की व्यवस्थाओं के अंदर जो पीडियाट्रिक आईसीयू बनाया गया है, उस आईसीयू के ऊपर मैं समझता हूँ कि जब तकलीफ आती है तो बहुत बड़ा स्ट्रेन होता है, जो मैंने स्वयं इस समय देखा. इसलिए एक एक्सक्लूसिव पीडियाट्रिक आईसीयू बनाने के लिए इनको हमने सरकार को रिक्वेस्ट किया है, और मंत्री जी से ये भी कहा है कि वो ये फास्ट ट्रैक पर सुनिश्चित करें.
Meanwhile, the death toll due to encephalitis has touched 127 in Muzaffarpur and adjoining areas of Bihar. Over 350 children are undergoing treatment in hospitals. And Kumar Alok now joins us from Muzaffarpur. Well, Kumar Alok, a very good morning to you. But tragedy in Muzaffarpur, children affected severely with encephalitis. What is the latest casualty count?
आप देख सकते हैं कि लगातार सवेरे से यहाँ पर मरीज आ रहे हैं, बच्चे खासकर आ रहे हैं. आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ भीड़ लगी हुई है. सवेरे से मैं यहाँ खड़ा हूँ तो लगभग अभी तक 25 जो बच्चे हैं यहाँ पर एडमिट के लिए आए हैं, और जितना संसाधन है हॉस्पिटल के पास, इस हॉस्पिटल की जितनी कैपेसिटी है उससे कहीं अधिक दोगुने या तिगुने यहाँ बच्चे भर्ती हैं. कहीं कहीं स्थिति ये है कि एक बेड पर 3-3 बच्चे यहाँ पर भर्ती हैं, उनका इलाज चल रहा है. और जनरल ओपीडी में जब उनका इलाज होने के बाद आईसीयू में रेफर किया जा रहा है. आईसीयू में भी जगह नहीं है. सरकार अपनी ओर से हर संभव कोशिश कर रही है कि इस जो स्थिति है उस पर काबू पाया जा सके, लेकिन जो मरीजों की संख्या है वो लगातार बढ़ती जा रही है. और विशेषज्ञों का मानना है कि जब तक मौसम में सुधार नहीं होता है, यानी हीट वेव जब तक खत्म नहीं होता है, तब तक इस स्थिति पर काबू पाना बहुत मुश्किल हो सकता है. लेकिन यहाँ पर जो डॉक्टर्स हैं, जो मेडिकल की टीम है, वो अपनी तरफ से तैयारी कर रही है, अपनी तरफ से कोशिश कर रही है कि स्थिति पर काबू पाया जा सके. लेकिन इस बीच एक पैनिक करने वाली खबर यहाँ पर आ गई कि यहाँ के डॉक्टर्स ने स्ट्राइक पर जाने का फैसला कर लिया. तो आप देख सकते हैं कि ओपीडी बंद हो गया. यहाँ पे डॉक्टर्स अचानक उन्होंने फैसला किया है, बंगाल वाले इशू पर शायद उन्होंने ये फैसला लिया है. तो यहाँ पर थोड़ी सी अफरा तफरी मरीजों के बीच है, लेकिन जो इंसेफ्लाइटिस से पीड़ित हैं बच्चे, उनका इलाज चल रहा है. और जितना हर संभव कोशिश हो रहा है प्रशासन के द्वारा या यहाँ की मेडिकल एक्सपर्ट के द्वारा वो करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
Right. Union Health Minister Vardhan also visited the hospital where the maximum number of children have died in the last 2 weeks due to the disease. What did he say? What did he add? Were there any recommendations that he put forward?
देखिए, कल जब स्वास्थ्य मंत्री ने यहाँ पर विजिट किया था तो चूंकि वो पेशे से भी डॉक्टर है तो उन्होंने लगभग 100 मरीजों का 100 बच्चों का उनका हिस्ट्री टेस्ट लिया था और उसके बाद उन्होंने अधिकारियों को निर्देश दिया, वहाँ हॉस्पिटल प्रशासन को निर्देश दिया कि जल्द से जल्द इनका जितना भी संभव हो सके केंद्र सरकार हर संभव सहायता देने के लिए तैयार है। साथ ही उन्होंने पेडियाट्रिक के लिए ICU की 100 बेड के ICU खोलने की यहाँ पर मुजफ्फरपुर में घोषणा की और इसके अलावा एक रिसर्च सेंटर सुपर स्पेशलिटी रिसर्च सेंटर स्थापना करने की भी घोषणा की कि इस तरह का जो बुखार ये जो इंसेफ्लाइटिस है, मस्तिष्क जो ज्वर है, इसको अभी तक ये 10 या 12 सालों में रिसर्च करने की कोशिश की गई, लेकिन इसका पता नहीं चल पाया है कि इसका वायरस क्या है और कैसे ये बच्चों के अंदर ये हो जाता है। लेकिन सबसे जो ज़्यादा अगर हम देखें यहाँ पर मरीजों की संख्या बच्चों की है तो सबसे ज़्यादा कुपोषित बच्चों की है, जो कुपोषण से पीड़ित हैं वो सबसे ज़्यादा है। गरीब तबके के बच्चे यहाँ पर ज़्यादा भर्ती हैं और अभी अगर यहाँ पर हॉस्पिटल की बात करें, OPD यहाँ पर बंद हो गया है तो निश्चित रूप से मरीजों के बीच थोड़ा सा गुस्सा है और वो चाहते हैं कि डॉक्टर स्ट्राइक पे नहीं जाएँ। तो कुल मिलाकर स्थिति यहाँ पर है कि डॉक्टर अपनी तरफ से पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जो बच्चे आ रहे हैं भर्ती के लिए जो आ रहे हैं, यहाँ पर एडमिट के लिए जो आ रहे हैं उनका ख्याल रखा जाए। इसके अलावा आप देख सकते हैं मुजफ्फरपुर के अलावा मोतिहारी, उसके बाद सीतामढ़ी, समस्तीपुर और हाजीपुर में भी इस बीमारी ने अपना प्रकोप फैला रखा है और वहाँ से भी कैजुअलिटीज़ की खबरें आ रही हैं, मौत की खबरें आ रही हैं। तो अभी स्थिति यह है कि लगातार यहाँ पर बच्चे जो हैं यहाँ हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट हो रहे हैं। शहर के डिफरेंट स्थानों से, जिले के बाहर के भी लोग यहाँ पर बच्चे यहाँ पर एडमिट के लिए आ रहे हैं।
Right, well, Kumar Alok, quite disheartening news still from Muzaffarpur as more and more children are being admitted for encephalitis. The virus, as our correspondent just told us, spreading to areas around Muzaffarpur like Motihari and so on. Well, we'll be with you, Kumar Alok, throughout the day for more. And moving on now, World Day to Combat Desertification and Drought is being observed today. The day is observed to raise awareness of the presence of desertification and drought, highlighting methods of preventing these and recovering from drought. Union Minister for Environment, Forests and Climate Change, Prakash Javadekar, will release a COP14 logo in New Delhi to mark the occasion. And in international news now, a massive blackout left more than 44 million people without electricity in Argentina and Uruguay on Sunday after an unexplained failure in the neighboring countries' interconnected power grid. Voters cast ballots by the light of cell phones in gubernatorial elections in Argentina. Public transportation was halted, shops closed, and patients dependent on home medical equipment were urged to go to hospitals with generators. The blackout was prompted by a failure in an electrical grid that serves both Argentina and Uruguay. Parts of Paraguay were also affected due to power failure. Argentina's power grid is generally known for being in a state of disrepair, with substations and cables that were insufficiently upgraded as power rates remained largely frozen for years. And time now for the latest from the world of business and finance. This Monday, we go across to my colleague Arun Sharma.
Thanks, Rukma, and let's straight away start finance world with the news from the stock markets. Well, stock markets are likely to open flat on the first trading session of the week as SGX Nifty is trading with marginal gains. The 30-share benchmark Sensex closed at 39,452, down by 289 points last Friday, and Nifty also reflected the same mood and shut shop at 11,823, down by 91 points. And state-run engineering firm BHEL has won 2 orders worth 800 crore rupees for setting up solar energy capacity of 200 megawatt. And with this, its solar photovoltaic portfolio has touched 1000 megawatt mark. valued at over 800 crore rupees. The orders have been secured from the state-run power giant NTPC and Gujarat state-run Electricity Corporation. And state and oil marketing companies have cut petrol and diesel prices on Sunday, marking a fourth straight day of reduction in fuel rates. The price of petrol was at 69.93 per litre in Delhi, while the rate of diesel was at 63.84 per litre in Delhi. Now, today the rate of petrol and diesel remains unchanged, tracking crude price in international market. Well, so that's it in today's finance world. For other news, back to you, Rukma.
Well, thank you very much, Arun, for that update. And well, in a run-up to International Yoga Day on the 21st of June, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is sharing videos of different yoga asanas to create awareness about their benefits. Today, he elaborates about Shalabhasana. The asana improves flexibility and coordination and increases strength and stamina. It also helps to exercise the spine. And well, international. Let's take a look at the video that the Prime Minister has put in for today.
शलभासन। शलभ एक संस्कृत शब्द है जिसका हिंदी में अर्थ है पतंगा या टिड्डा। इस आसन को करने के लिए सबसे पहले आपको मकर आसन की मुद्रा में आना होगा, जिसके लिए आप जमीन पर पेट के बल लेट जाएं और अपने पैरों को एक दूसरे से दूर रखें। अपने माथे को अपनी हथेलियों पर रखें और अपने शरीर को आराम दें। अब मकर आसन से आगे बढ़ते हुए अपने दोनों पैरों को आपस में जोड़ें। अब अपने दोनों हाथों को अपने शरीर के समीप इस तरह रखें कि आपकी हथेलियां आसमान की ओर हों और आपकी ठोड़ी जमीन पर हो। एक गहरी सांस लेते हुए सिर्फ अपने नितंब यानी कूल्हों की मांसपेशियों के सहारे अपने पैरों को जमीन से ऊपर उठाएं। आप अपने पैरों को सिर्फ उतना ही ऊपर उठाएं जितना आप बिना अपने घुटनों को मोड़े उठा सकें। आप पैरों को ऊपर उठाए रखने के लिए अपनी बाहों का सहारा ले सकते हैं, जिससे आप अपने शरीर को स्थिर रख सकें। अब इस स्थिति में सामान्य रूप से सांस लें और छोड़ें और 10 से 20 सेकंड तक आराम से रहें। ये आसन सायाटिका एवं पीठ के निचले हिस्से में हो रहे दर्द से राहत देता है, कूल्हों और गुर्दों के आसपास की मांसपेशियों को आकार देता है। इस आसन को नियमित रूप से करने पर जांघों की चर्बी घटती है और वजन कम होता है। ये आसन हमारे पेट के लिए भी लाभकारी है और पाचन क्रिया में सहायक सिद्ध होता है। गर्भवती महिलाओं, पेप्टिक अल्सर, हर्निया, हाई बीपी और हृदय के रोगियों को ये आसन नहीं करना चाहिए। अगर आपकी पीठ के निचले हिस्से में बहुत दर्द हो तो इस आसन को सावधानी के साथ करना चाहिए। 10 से 20 सेकंड तक इस स्थिति में रहने के बाद सांस छोड़ते हुए धीरे धीरे टांगों को वापस जमीन पर ले आएं। अब मकर आसन में आने के पश्चात विश्राम करें। यह आसन आपके मानसिक तनाव और थकान को भी दूर करता है।
An International Yoga Day will be celebrated on the 21st of June. However, the celebrations have already begun across the world with immense fervor to observe the day this year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a tweet urged people across the globe to join Yoga Day programs in their respective nations. The Prime Minister also shared photographs of people practicing yoga in many countries, including in France, South Africa, Zimbabwe, the Netherlands and the UAE. And these are photographs that the Prime Minister has shared of yoga being practiced in different countries of the world. And in Nepal, the Embassy of India in Kathmandu organized a yoga event at the base camp of Mount Everest, 17,600 feet above sea level. It was the first time that such an event was organized at the Everest base camp. Here's a report.
Nepal's Namche Bazaar is the gateway to Mount Everest. To celebrate International Day of Yoga, the Embassy of India organized a special program at Siangboche, situated around 13,000 feet in the lap of Mount Everest. Members from various NGOs, women and youth groups of Solukhumbu district, officials of Sagarmatha National Park, and a large number of local people enthusiastically participated in the program.
Love yoga, and I took a yoga class before, and today I'm so happy to see we're celebrating the International Yoga Day here, highest place on the earth.
So I think the yoga, international yoga, will expand also in the remote area of Nepal, and especially like the Sherpa community will love and follow, which is harmony and peace.
Besides Indian Ambassador Manjeev Singh Puri and officials of the embassy, many foreign tourists, mountaineers and researchers also joined Yoga Day celebrations.
For health and for your spiritual health as well. So it's highly recommended, not only in this region, all around the world.
It's an amazing experience with such a lovely group of people. It's the first time I'm doing something like this and my first time in this country. It's a beautiful country, and to experience it with Everest in the background with such lovely people, a lovely memory to take back.
It's really nice looking at the local people participating in the Indian culture. Yoga is built in the Indian culture. So yeah, it's really good experience.
Yoga teacher from Embassy of India performed different asanas from common yoga protocol. The main objective of the program was to highlight the importance of yoga in daily life and to bring peace and harmony among the people.
We have people from this region, men and women, clad in the yoga t-shirts, all doing yoga for harmony and peace and celebrating the International Day of Yoga. Thank you, Nepal. Thank you, Mount Everest. Thank you for making yoga the greatest and most wonderful thing for the world, bringing peace and harmony across nations and across continents, across people.
First time, the International Day of Yoga celebrations were also held at the base camp of Mount Everest. India's Mount Everest climber Bharat Sharma and other mountaineers created history by performing yoga at 17,600 feet in the backdrop of mighty Mount Everest.
Yoga keeps our mind, body, soul fit and healthy. And practicing yoga at the base of Mount Everest, the highest peak on the earth, is a unique experience which cannot be expressed through words. For Prasar Bharati, this is Rajkumar from Namche Bazaar, Nepal.
And joining us in the studio now is Dr. Mangala Gauri Rao, Head of the Department of Swastha Vritta. Well, a very good morning to you, ma'am. Thank you very much for joining us. First of all, you're a practitioner of Ayurveda and a master of yoga as well. How are the two basically related?
Actually, yoga and Ayurveda, they are directly related. In Ayurveda, it has been mentioned, yoge mokshe cha sarvasam vedananam avartanam. That means yoga and moksha, they, in both the conditions, there is no pain, or it can be related to the diseases also, wherein in the ancient times our seers, they were free from diseases and living 100 years of life very healthily. So this is a thing which is a lifestyle that has been given by our seers for the benefit of the entire universe. So again, if you think about the various stages of yoga wherein it has been developed, starting from the Veda, again Upanishads, further into the time of Patanjali, wherein he classified yoga into 8 types, that is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. 8 step-by-step practices. Each is a higher level practice compared to the other one, and the initial ones, that is Yama and Niyama comprises of the non-violence and other physical as well as mental hygiene measures that will be helpful for the preventing the mental afflictions, and also the asanas, that is the physical part of it, wherein various muscles are exercised, and we can prevent many of the physical disorders also. And then coming on for the pranayama or the pranic practices, which helps to control the prana vayu as well as the other vayus of the body, which are responsible for functioning of the entire body as well as the mind. So by the control of the respiration, we can control the prana as well as enhance the vitality along with the vital capacity of the lungs. And then the pratyahara, wherein we are indrawing our mind from the external objects to the internal thing, and again concentrating internally. That is good for the spiritual health as well as the social health, which is becoming a major problem nowadays. Various violence etc. are taking place, so we can prevent those things also. And also the world is being pulled by the psychosomatic disorders, especially the diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, so many long list of diseases which I can make, and these all can be prevented as well as managed very well with the help of the yogic practices, starting from the yama niyamas to asana, pranayama and the meditation, stage by stage and regularly. That is one of the most important thing, regularity. It has to be done, and it has been mentioned yoga anushasanam, that is a regulated life or lifestyle that is good for the health of everybody, that has to be done.
Right. When we talk about Ayurveda, we generally understand that certain medicines are also involved. Are we saying basically, you know, that the effect of medicines too, you know, it is further enhanced with the practice of yoga? Can yoga impact the medicines that Ayurveda provides?
Yes, surely. Again, yoga helps in enhancing the effect of the medication, and again it is like in Ayurveda many rejuvenators have been mentioned, whether it is in the form of medicine herbs, or it may be in the form of the lifestyle. Right. Also, like again Ayurveda emphasizes upon the lifestyle and the diet. There are many rejuvenating diet also. If we incorporate both the things together, then we can very well manage as well as prevent lots of diseases that are occurring today in the world. And also not only the prevention of the diseases, but they can improve a person's ability in the professional level, as well as if the children practice this, then they can have good concentration, get good marks or good whatever aim of their life very easily. And also they because many of the things are related with our lifestyle. If yoga is incorporated in a very early stage, then we can call it as primordial prevention, wherein we can stop the disease before it occurs. And also many of the psychological ailments can be very well managed, and stress can be managed, which is the root cause for lots of diseases.
Right. But in today's world, many of us, you know, we work in shifts, and you know, it's very difficult to basically wake up at dawn or you know, to do yoga. Many of us may be working during that time or getting ready to go out to work, and in the evening, you know, which we believe, which we have heard that these are the best times, you know, when the energy of the universe is at a peak. So you know, we can really connect with that energy. Suppose we are not able to do yoga during these particular times, despite all our efforts, is it okay if we practice it at any other time of the day?
Yeah, like always, one thing is ideal, another thing is practical.
Right.
So sometimes it so happens we are not able to do it at that ideal time, then we can do certain things like stretching things. We can do it even in the office setups also. While sitting also we can do certain yogic practices. And pranayama and meditation, they can be done at any time. Just one thing we have to take care is it should not be immediately after taking food. There should be some gap, that is at least 3 hours after taking light food, that too. So that should be maintained. Apart from that, the practices can be made any other time also. And even in the classics, the practice of pranayama has been advocated 4 times also, not the only one time, that is in the morning.
All right.
So it can be very well done.
Well, Dr. Gauri Rao, thank you so much for joining us on the show, for all your invaluable inputs, and well, we hope to continue with our discourse, but we'll have to leave it at that for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And well, we've come to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show. As we go, we'll leave you with glimpses of fans celebrating India's win over Pakistan in the ICC World Cup yesterday. Take a look and enjoy. Namaskar.